What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the King Courts podcast. We are back with, as you see, the title name is "What a Girl Wants." Hey, don't mind my co-workers, man. The mama co-hosts, man, they are football. Just we just gonna leave it at that. But we here.
That's what a girl wants. Can we get somebody who's not obsessed with football? Is it possible?
What's wrong with being obsessed with football?
Right. We'll get into that.
We already starting off on the wrong note.
We'll get into that.
No.
I'm ready to fight.
Wow.
Because y'all done ticked me off anyway with all this football talk today.
A man can't watch football. Sheesh. Oh boy.
So how do y'all feel about this topic? Honestly, like when because what was it? You said someone on the page left this as a viewer comment.
Yeah, I think somebody said that. Well, I think it was the question of why do girls women tend to, I think, gravitate toward bad boys or something like that. I think that was.
Yeah. The question that was posed was why do some women tend to draw more to toxic men than good guys? That's what the question was.
I would like for Court to start this one out for us.
Of course, being the female voice of the podcast, I would expect nothing less. But so for starters, that's a little different than what I thought, Don. So to answer that question, why do women tend to go for toxic men versus, I guess, non-toxic people? To be honest with you, that's not something that a woman knows right away. Like people don't walk around with a shirt on that says I'm toxic. Like that's something you kind of learn as you get to know a person, or once you're in a relationship with a person. Of course, what do we call it? Like the cupcake phase, when you're getting to know somebody, everything's cool. Everybody's on their best behavior at first, So to give an honest answer to that particular question, I don't think like we can say, and it'd be fair, that women like toxic men more than they do, because you don't really know, until you're on over in there. Now, of course, there's the exception. Like if you clearly see a person who's just like a criminal or, involved in a lot of illegal stuff or whatever, then naturally, maybe there's a little toxicity there, but just to say, I mean, I know several business people that are toxic, people who aren't criminals, but they're very toxic. So, I think that one's I don't think you can just say that women gravitate more to toxic people. It don't really work like that, in my opinion.
Do you feel like it's...
Go ahead, Nate.
Do you feel like it's because of particular experiences that some people go through of why they would feel like they are gravitating to a particular type of guy?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's more spiritual than anything. Like, I think, honestly, it's 99. Okay, I'll say 95. I'll say 95% spiritual, and probably 5% flesh. But yes, I do think that subconsciously, sometimes we're drawn to what we're used to. For example, I can only speak from personal experience, but I recognize that an issue that I personally dealt with, I kept finding myself in that same predicament when it came to relationships. I was always drawing that type of person, and it was a spiritual thing for me, So yes, I would say that, it's a thing that has to do with like your past and what you're accustomed to, and most definitely, yes. What we gonna ask, Ant?
I think it's more so about not necessarily like toxic, but, and I hate to use the word, I don't want to use like thugs, because I feel like that's kind of got, like, white people love to throw that word around. But I do feel like there are women who just naturally have a preference to not. I'm trying to think of the word. It's um rougher, like kind of guys, like rougher on the edges, rougher.
So,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so let me tell you,
And that
and
doesn't
this
make
is
you that doesn't make you toxic. Like
yeah,
off
and
the
that's why I
jump.
said it's two different
Yeah,
things.
those
Because
are two
toxic
different
is
things.
one thing, but a bad guy or a tough guy is another thing. You
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
a tough
exactly.
guy and
Yeah.
not be toxic. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different ball games. So that's why I wanted to address the whole toxic piece first, because like I said, you don't necessarily know that a person is toxic right out the gate. Like to me, as a woman, nobody's gonna be like, oh, I want a toxic person. Now you might say, oh, I want a thug, you know, or something like that. But again, being a thug doesn't necessarily make you toxic.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's two totally different things that we have to totally address separately because it's not the same.
No, 100%. I think initially what kind of came to my mind, I saw like a post on Reddit or something like that where like it's basically a woman was asking if she had ruined her relationship because she explained to her boyfriend that he was like the safe choice.
That was rude.
Yeah. And
That wasn't
so
very mindful.
yeah, he took and you know, he took offense to that. And I think it's like determining, I guess, if you are someone's safe choice. Cause I think for women, and this is strictly talking about from like a like physical attraction perspective. Like I think there are men out there that women um are naturally like kind of attracted to, and they know that this man may not necessarily be the best for me, but he kind of like ignites that passion within
Mhm.
you. But there might be another guy, but he might not make you feel as passionate, but you know, okay, he's
Safe.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's husband material. Like
I mean, we could really talk about this.
I can build a life with him.
Yeah, we
You
can
know?
really talk about this because y'all know I've been married before.
Yeah.
And I married safe.
Hmm.
And now I'm divorced. So we can go as far as y'all want to go with this thing. We can really unpack it. I think that as a woman, and first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room. And I hope that females are actually gonna watch and chime in. Because I hate to be the only one, you know, talking about it, but clearly I'm the only woman of the four of us. But what a girl wants, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A lot of times, depending on where we are in our life, we don't always know what we want. That's the truth. That's the truth. We don't always know what we want. And so that's why you find, you know, okay, do I go safe? Do I go this way? You know, we don't know what we want. And so as a result of that, you know, we be out here trying to figure it out like y'all, to be honest. To be honest. I think that in our minds, you know, when you're growing up and you're being groomed, I feel like all of us are groomed. I feel like men are groomed and I feel like women are groomed, that you're supposed to be, I don't know what's going on right there. Sorry, I don't know what's up with my background. But
Wow. Okay.
I feel like we're all groomed to a certain, and so, you know, women are groomed to, oh, you got to be this and you got to do this, and this is the type of life that you want, and this is the type of, you know, whatever, this type of woman you want to be, this type of man you want, this type of whatever. And it's hard because you're trying to live up to society's expectations, all while still trying to satisfy yourself. So, for example, me personally, I always thought in my mind, by the time you turn 30 years old, you need to be married, you need to be pregnant, you need to be having children, you need to be this, and that. Well, I mean, that's a societal pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to do that, but I felt like society kind of pushed me to do that. And so, what did I do? Well, let me find the safest option. And I found the safest option, which was my ex-husband. And shout out to him, wonderful person. Still a great person. It wasn't him. Can I do something that no woman or probably 3% of women would ever do? Can I tell y'all that I was the problem in my marriage? Because I didn't know what I wanted.
You don't hear that often. You really don't.
Don't hear it at all.
Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted. And as a result of that, see, this is why it's so important. This is why I wanted to talk about this, because I want other women to know, learn from me. You know, like I'm okay with women learning from my mistakes, my failures, so that they don't have to repeat it. If you're young, you can learn it early on so that you don't repeat, you know, and go through what I had to go through. But I'm glad I went through it, because now I'm able to help others. But if you don't know what you want, you're going to mess up other people in the process of trying to find out what you want. So it's best to just stay single, casually, you know, date until you figure it out. It's nothing wrong with dating, you know, like it's nothing wrong with that. But people are pushed and then, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do that, oh, I got to have this type of guy. The safe option is always the safest. I married safe. Why? Because a real man is gonna, you know, be financially stable. I'm not taking away from that. Yes, they will be financially stable, but every financially stable man ain't meant for you. And that might not be your husband. You know what I'm saying? You looking at financial security, but that might be the only thing that clicks with you. Well, is he feeding you spiritually? Is he satisfying you emotionally? Is he satisfying you physically? Like, these are all still things that's important. You know what I'm saying? But we go the safe route. I don't like going to say. I'll never go the safe route again. Going the safe route, what I don't care how you chalk it up, is settling, and we don't do that.
It's funny you made that statement, because this first comment was saying that play the fields, fellas. You never settle for a figuring out type of woman. I want to get your take on this too, but I also want to throw something in on that. There was a girl I used to talk to years ago, and she came around my family. Family was cool with her, but every time I wanted to get serious, she was, well, let's see we date, let's see how it goes down the road. I'm like, you can't do the family stuff. You can't come around my family. Can't come around certain people saying, hey, you know what I mean? Like, is this, you want to do the girlfriend stuff, but you don't want to be a girlfriend or even better. So right. I agree with this comment that you don't want that. If you're going to invest in someone and build with someone, make sure that person is trying to meet you halfway.
I agree. I want to address the comment too, because I feel two ways about it. I get it. I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, you can't be a figure it out type nigga either. If you don't got it together and you don't know
go there.
If you don't got it together, then we're both figuring it out.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying? And now, if we're both figuring it out, then I don't see a problem with that. But we both have to be in that position that we're both figuring it out. You can't have one person who's settled and they're sure of what they want, and which I'm going to assume that my good brother right here is that type. You know, maybe that's what he's coming from. I'm not trying to throw shade at you, brother. I'm just giving it from both sides. But if you got a guy that knows where he is in life, he's, you know, on a solid foundation, he's firm, he knows there's no question, he knows where he's going, then absolutely don't waste your time on a young woman or an old woman, whatever, who's still trying to figure it out, because you're at that point, you really are wasting your time. But now, if you ain't got it together neither, the pot can't call the kettle black. And that's just my take on that.
And one thing about it, you can't demand 100% of the figuring out if you're not 100%. And understand this, and I'm not trying to throw in an excuse, you know, until our time is up on this earth, we'll never have it all together.
Exactly.
You know,
we'll never have it all figured out.
We'll never have it all figured out. But at the same time, the core of you, like Courtney was saying, where you're going, where your goals are, what your standards are, what you are able to tolerate, what you're not able to tolerate. Those things you need to have figured out already. And it's not our position, it's not one person's job to have to figure it out for themselves and then have to figure out your stuff. Like you already have that stuff together already before we get into a relationship. I mean, if you're already at a point to where you're not even loving yourself, you're not even taking care of yourself, you're not even knowing who you are, then it's gonna put a strain on the relationship because I'm having to carry my own weight and then I'm have to carry your weight too. Like at the same time, and then I have to go to a man's perspective, you know, and when you was talking about how the upbringing, when you was talking about society, men have no pressure on there as it is. We're the head of households. We have more responsibility, we have more things on our plates. And it just makes it so stressful when you have that figure it out type of woman who's at a place in her life where she's supposed to have certain stuff lined up where it's not even in order. So I'm already trying to figure out, okay, how can I be a better man? How can I do this? How can I do that? And now I'm having to add your stuff onto my plate. Like it has to be 100. It has to be middle all across the board. So I agree with that comment right there. You know, play the field, fellas. Never settle for a figure out type of woman. And then women don't settle for a figure out type of men because it can go both ways. It's two sides. So women, don't waste your time on a figure it out type of man because you too, we understand that you too have responsibilities. You have things on your plate. You have goals. You have aspirations. You have things that you want to accomplish. And then you have this man that still trying to figure himself out, still don't know where he's going on with his life, but you're wasting your time because you see quote unquote potential there and it's not going anywhere.
Right.
I mean,
and so that's gonna bring me to like I guess my first point in what a woman wants, because I want to try to give like bullet points on certain things that we look for as a woman. And again, I'm just one woman out of the whole planet, but one of the biggest things I think generally across the board, we look for security. We look for security. If you can't provide security, if you're not securing yourself, then how can you bring security to the relationship? And what I mean by security is, are you stable? Are you holding, you know, whether you're in a career or you might not have a career, you might just work a job. I don't care what you do. You can be a garbage truck driver as far as I care. As long as you are secure. Are you, you know, do you have a place to live? You know, are you paying your bills on time? Like, I know a lot of people talk about having good credit, and I'm good with that. Like, I think a man should have good credit, but to me, that's not really a deal breaker. I just more so look at your day-to-day life. Like, how do you sustain? Are you in a position to where you can take care of yourself and be straight? You know, like, are you handling your business? Are you secure? And so I think that that's a very, very, you know, that's a big one when it comes to what a woman wants.
Now, is it just financial security or is it like physical security as well?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, are you just well-rounded? Like, are you able to maintain? Like I said, do you pay rent every month or you get kicked out everywhere you go? Do you have a car? Transportation, like, you know, the basics. You know, are you able to sustain, or are you just out here playing around and living off somebody else? Or, you know, like, are you getting to it?
Do you care to elaborate on that physical security?
Well, define physical security, like, in what way?
Like, I don't know, maybe he's not in the best shape physically, like he's got a belly good, you know.
I mean, to be honest, now you got some women. Now, if you're a fitness guru, then you probably want somebody that's physically fit. You know what I'm saying? I don't, again, me personally, that really don't matter to me. I'm not a judge of a person by what they look like. You might be fat, you might be skinny, you might be built, you might be whatever. You know, I just think that's not what I'm talking about when I say, I don't care about that. Now other women may, but I can't say that I'm gonna turn down a person because they don't look a certain way. I think that's more preference than one of the big like mandates. I don't care about what a person looks like.
And the reason why I asked that was because that was one of the things that Jen had to deal with when she dated me. She told me that she never thought that she'll be dating somebody, that was heavy set and light skinned, because she always said that those were not her purposes as who she saw herself being with. But that came across, at a point to where it's just about, okay, God, who do you have for me? I'm going to tear down my purposes. I'm going to tear down the fact that I don't care if he don't have a six pack. I don't care if he's not 6'4". Like, I want what you have for me. I want my husband. And that was just a part about it is it comes a point to where when you're securing yourself, you have to be able to tear down those preferences. You have to tear down, those things that those make it or break it things. Now, of course, you have those things, like those core things that you absolutely cannot budge
Right. That's what I was
know.
saying. When it comes to physical appearance, I feel like that's one of those give or take. Like, it's not one of those core set that I'm not gonna. I think a person can fold. That's just preference on weight and stuff like that. One thing I do want to add though is that if you are, I'm not against a man that's heavy set or whatever the case may be. But what I do say is, at the point that you decide that you're gonna be, I guess, get serious or whatnot, I do feel like it's a man's responsibility, or even a woman, vice versa. If you're you can be fat and healthy, but you can also be fat and unhealthy. So I feel like it is our jobs to encourage each other to be our best selves. And I do feel like you might come into the relationship fat, but you got diabetes, and like, let's work on that. Let's work on that together. Like, let's try to do whatever we have to do to make sure you become your healthiest self. Now, I will say that. But like, as far as just like ruling a person out, I wouldn't do that.
I ain't got no high blood pressure. I'm good.
Amen. I'm healthy.
I'm healthy. Hey.
Right.
But I'm working on it. I'm trying.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't rule the person out. And then, so what y'all talk about? Listen, I wish a Ricky Rose would come knocking on my door. Listen, and it's gonna get cold outside too. Sign me up.
But something, Court, I think that the preference thing do y'all feel like it goes away as you get older and as you go through the experience of dating or even being in relationships? Not saying that it will fully go away, or I just feel like that's something that may be more of a preference when you're younger, but then.
Yeah, well, I think I'm the oldest one in the room, and I think I can say that it does kind of diminish. It doesn't completely go away. You're still attracted to what you're attracted to, but you become more open-minded. You become more open to giving people a chance, versus what you used to want, or, yes, I will say that.
Right. And you quiet on
it. Yeah, trying to figure out Nana and some other things. But yeah, man, I mean, as far as personal preference goes, I don't know. Like, I think that's just like a whole, like, people are entitled to have their preferences, like it is what it is ultimately. I mean, and I think people need to do a better job of navigating. Like, you can't, like, if you know somebody doesn't really meet the preferences that you're looking for, avoid those individuals. Don't even interact with them to see if there's something else under there that you could find that will make you attracted to that person, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find anything.
I don't know, Aunt. I don't know. I don't know. And not only because my good sis Desiree just said this comment and the last one is like, we talk about preference, But the very person that you look at and you don't think that you could love them could be the very first person that you fall in love with, and you forget all about your preference. So I do think that to a certain degree. Now I understand you saying, hey, if you know you don't rock with me, don't waste my time. I get that. But I do feel like a certain degree of conversation needs to be had to even determine whether you guys click or not. Because if not, like Desiree said, you could really miss out on a wonderful thing. Like, how will we know unless we communicate to some degree?
No, let me clarify. What I mean by that is, like, let's say you're a woman and you know you're not into bigger guys, and you're out here mingling with bigger guys, like maybe thinking that, okay, I can find one that can provide that financial security that you were talking about earlier. And then you find one, but the bigger issue is he's a bigger guy. And that's going to lead to issues down the road potentially, especially if you don't necessarily make that clear. That person isn't really willing or able to make any changes, regarding their health.
So what you're saying is a woman actually hunting for something that she knows she don't want, just for the sake of trying to fulfill something else.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's a ball game.
Financial security is a huge thing for women, and so it's like I said, it's plenty of dudes out here struggling, don't have cars, blah blah blah, whatever. But just make sure you're targeting the correct demographic of people that you're actually attracted to. That's all.
I agree, and I also agree with Desiree said when she said, "Who are we to request something of somebody else that we're not even doing ourselves?" Exactly. And I think that that's also important. But that type of wisdom comes as you get older. These young girls, like, I try to give them some grace, and even the young guys, I try to give y'all grace too. But the older you get and the more skin you got in the game, that's the type of wisdom that comes along with growing. At this big age of mine now, how dare I request a man that's got his own if I didn't have my own? How dare I look for a man that's got X credit score and mine down in the trenches? You know what I'm saying? Like, I never require something of a man that I don't have going for myself.
Yeah, that can't happen. Yeah, you can't be out here like saying that you want a man that is financially secure and you're on the verge of getting evicted. And that's
let me tell you what y'all do now, because I'm not gonna let y'all get on. I'm not gonna let y'all.
No offense to anybody who's on the verge of getting evicted, by the way. Like, that's not, I'm
not gonna let y'all get on us too bad. Because
talk about it.
Hey, I'm not gonna let y'all get on us too bad now. I came out the gate saying, I don't have a problem saying when I'm the problem or when we're the problem. But
you knew what the topic was. You knew.
But I do feel like the pickings are slim, y'all. It's hard out here for a woman. It's hard out here for a woman because.
In what way? Hold on. In what way?
Because everything that I am asking for, I bring to the table. So it's hard to me. It's been difficult for me, just being able to come in contact with somebody who's either where I am or even who wants to get there. Like, it's just hard. Like, it's tough. The pickings are slim. Maybe it's because I live in Atlanta. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just I found it quite difficult.
That could be a valid reason.
Yeah, that's another topic within itself.
Yep.
Maybe I need to leave. Maybe I need to get out of there. But yeah. So
but no, I definitely appreciate you saying that too, because again, like you said, there are some people who they want a certain thing. Like, I'll never forget this girl. She was like, I want a guy that got things situated. He had to have his own car, own house, and she didn't even have a whip, nor did she have a license. So it's like, well, how are you expecting a particular thing? You don't even have your stuff together. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
It's two different types of women. It's two types of women. Why do I always keep getting all the weird things going on in my background?
I have no idea.
Yeah, what was that thumbs up earlier? I thought I got a story.
Every time I do something, it's doing something. But
The
anyway,
iPad's agreeing with you.
you have the women like me who are career driven, who have their own, who want a partner. You got that type of woman. And then you have the type of woman who wants somebody to take care of her. And who wants to be like, who literally wants a man to take care of her in every way. Now, yeah, I don't know if I could. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to call it. I've always been an independent woman. I've always worked. I've always secured my own stuff. Now, my thing is, as a woman, I think it's kind of in our nature to want to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not throwing shade to my sisters who say, hey, no, I want a man to do it all. Hey, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I'm not that woman. What I will say, though, is what I want or what I would like or my type of females who are like me, we don't necessarily want a man to take care of us per se, but we do want a man that we want the option of being taken care of if that's what we wanted to do.
So
but we're gonna work.
So you want the man to make up in his mind that, hey, I'm going to take care of you, as opposed to a woman demanding that he takes care of her.
Right. Like I want to be loved in a way that he say, baby, for example, like let's say I'm older. So if I get pregnant at this point, y'all, I don't know what it's gonna look like. But I want the option to be like, you know what, babe? You ain't even gotta go to work if you don't want to, because I got you. That's what, not to say, oh, you gotta, but no, I want somebody to love me enough to say, hey, no, if you don't want to go, you don't got to. Like, I got you. Yeah. You good. That's a level of security, like that falls under that umbrella versus I'm sick as a dog carrying your child and I'm out here working hard trying to slave and, to me, that's trash.
And I look like KD dropped you a very good question. I'm intrigued to get your answer on this one too. What do you define as a good guy and a bad guy?
In my mind, good guy, bad guy. When I think of a bad guy, I think of a hood nigga. I don't. I think of a street nigga.
Let the record show that just because you're from the hood, that doesn't make you a bad guy.
Right. And I'm not talking about bad, like in the sense of when I say bad guy, it don't mean you're like, it's bad in a good way. Like, not bad. It pissing me off tonight.
It's bad in a good way.
You know what I'm talking about. God,
I just want to clarify because people get sensitive, so that's all.
No, and I don't mean when I say good.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I just mean like a little rough around the edge.
Yeah, rough around the edges. I got you.
Yeah. And then the good guy, of course, is the it's the corporate Charlie.
The one you take home to mom. Like the one you feel comfortable like bring it to the family functions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the hood guy can't go to dinner though. He can't meet mom, dad.
I mean,
that's the one that she let drop her off at work in her own car. That's the
that would never happen. That would never happen.
That's the Jody.
That would never happen.
That's the Jody. You better be here before I get off work.
Your own car. How are you selling your drugs? I know you ain't walking. What are you doing? I know you're not selling dope.
Oh man.
That's what times call for desperate measures, man.
Listen,
this product gotta be moved.
Listen, that will never happen. Never. But nah, yeah.
You would never you would never let a man drop you off at work in your own car?
No.
Well, not now, especially. I'm just saying in your younger days.
I did something very stupid, but I was very young. I got played so bad. That's probably why I am the way I am now. Let me tell y'all this story time real quick. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't even put this out there like that, but I was young. So I was stupid. So I was talking to this guy, y'all, and he was a known liar. Like the more I got to know him, it was evident that he was a known liar. And I kept on like a dummy, kept on talking to him. It was a sad time in my life. But anyway, I let this nigga get my car, right? Dude told me he was going, I don't know. I don't even remember where he told me he was going. Y'all, this nigga took a girl to the prom in my car.
What? No.
How'd you figure it out?
Oh man.
Did somebody say they saw them? Like whipping.
Nah, Shorty like posted her pictures on Facebook or something like that.
Wow. See,
Man,
that
you was
social media
stalking?
get y'all in trouble.
You was stalking. You was trying to see what was happening.
No, actually, I mean, it started to come out because another like mutual friend was like, "Hey, yo, he talked to so and so," and I was like,
Wow.
"What?" And they was like, "Yeah, And so, little bit by little bit, I started piecing it together. Yeah, and Shorty ended up telling me like, "Yeah, that was your car, girl."
Wow.
Yeah.
Did she say thank you?
She better not say a word.
I hate you.
I think it's inappropriate. Like,
Your car smelled so good.
Yeah.
She do that with her fragrance.
Yo, trash. I was so stupid. You want to talk about young and dumb?
Wow.
This girl here, young and dumb.
Wow.
Very dumb.
Dang, the dude used your car to drop off somebody at the prom. Wow.
No, not drop off. That was the car. You know how people rent limos to go to prom? That nigga took my car to prom. He was the date. He took her to prom in my car.
Wow.
he told him Unc came through, gave him the whip. He was. This is us for the night.
Look at what Unc hooked me up with.
Yeah, that my daddy's car right there. He been telling me
Like, and then my thing
Full tank of gas.
my thing was, girl, it was a blue Chevrolet Cobalt. Like, who wrote
Oh, a two-door. It was a sport car.
No, it was a 4-door.
Hey, when you don't have a car, like beggars can't be choosers, man.
I remember that Cobalt too.
Yeah, Betty was a good car. Betty took me a long way. Like, Betty was solid.
Betty.
Yeah, Betty was solid. But yeah, so
Court loved that Cobalt, man.
Can we?
I did.
I had to step away for a moment, but I just wanted to get back into what Courtney was talking about a little earlier. How did you, so did you go into your marriage knowing he was the safe guy, or was that something that you kind of figured out?
Yes, I did. No, I went into it knowing that he was safe. I went into it knowing that I did not like who I was. I went into it knowing that I didn't know who I was or what I wanted. All I knew was that I wanted marriage, but I wasn't ready for marriage.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so as a result of that, I ultimately screwed it up.
That's funny because someone actually dropped a question similar to the question that he asked earlier about the security of your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, while I had security, I don't know that I would say I had security per se in my ex-husband, but he was safe. I think, safety and security, while they're both important things in what a girl wants, I don't really think they're the same. So I found safety in a certain degree of security. Financial security, yes. But the other components of security, no, I didn't have those. And so that was a part of the problem because I didn't get what I felt like I wanted. And so while he was a wonderful person, he's a wonderful man, he just wasn't mine. You know what I'm saying? But I settled for it because I'm like, oh, he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna find that's another thing. Like, stop telling yourself what you're not gonna find. Allow the Lord to bless you with what it is. He will give you the desires of your heart if you're patient and you wait for it. Work on yourself. Get yourself right. Position yourself so that when that man comes, you're ready for him. Because watch this. My ex, like, again, a wonderful man. Had I been ready for him, I probably could have made it. But I wasn't ready. So you can mess yourself. Women can miss out because you so busy out here just trying to do something that you're not ready when a good guy comes. That's how you mess up good guys.
Yeah.
That's how you mess up good men. So don't do it to yourself. And don't do it to them because they don't deserve it. And for the record, my ex is happily remarried, and I'm so happy for him that he was able to not be messed up from me, you know. But yeah. My issue was that he was safe and I settled. And yes, I am still single today. Yep.
Wow.
I just want to say, go ahead, Nate.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I just want to
Nah,
say, like you, especially on social media, like you'll see, like I hate like the woe is me nice guys that are like, oh, you know, nice guys finish last, and you know, women don't like me because I'm a nerd, or you know, the different things I'm into. Like maybe you watch anime or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they use all these other things to kind of justify their experience in the dating world, and it's like
video games.
Yeah, like I play video games, like, and women don't like guys to play video. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's like you reach a certain age where you just got to stop blaming the world and other people for. What are you about to say?
I think it's a red flag when men get on social media running their mouth about.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a red flag. Because first of all, I don't got a problem with you playing video games. Are the bills paid? Are you working, or are you just sitting on your tail every day playing video games? Now, if you doing that, we got a problem.
My lights are on. There's food in the refrigerator. There's gas in the car. I'm just saying.
Listen, I mean, it's priorities. Let's talk about it. Like, but I do think it's a red flag. But I mean, I say the same thing with women. If you getting on and all you ever doing is bashing and talking about and what, like, who's doing that?
Why he gotta watch football?
Like, I don't think that it's good to get on social media and air out or complain about the opposite sex.
And I think that some women, now I get it, like men should not let those things that they like doing overlap. Like you were saying, the priorities and the relationship, like those things shouldn't take precedence over what you need to do. But of course, everybody has their own hobbies. Some people like reading, some people like playing video games, some people like watching football, some people like, walking. It's all about what your preference is. At the same time, I feel like some women and some men too, because some men do it, they do it too. I feel like they do that because they're lacking something within themselves. Like they have a void within themselves that causes them to lash out at you because you have something outside of them. Because you do have those people in relationships that just, they feel like they don't exist or they don't have no purpose in life if you're not doing everything with them. And one thing about it is when you're in a relationship, and this comes to back to self-love, you have to love yourself whether you're with a person or not. So that's all I had to add right there. But yeah, I think it really needs to be known. Okay, what does a girl really want? Because we
want safety too, and that's that good guy, bad guy. There's something about a hood nigga that's got a gun on him that just make a girl feel real.
Cut the cameras.
Good guy don't keep cameras. All right, cool.
We going off the rails.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I do want you to.
Let the record show that good guys cannot keep y'all safe unless you got a gun. Like,
hear me out.
I do want you to throw a perspective out there of what would attract a woman to feel that safety with that.
Just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out.
If you don't get in a fight with somebody at Walmart, like you're a good guy.
No, no, y'all. I'm just for real. Like, I'll just aside. So, safety is a thing, right? Because women like to feel safe and secure physically. I don't know, y'all. It's hard for me to explain, but it's like an aura that a hood guy carries, like that. You all right with him, you safe with him. And I'm not saying that good guys cannot provide that same sense of safety. You can, but now my thing is a lot of times, not all the time. So I'm not saying this for every good man, every good guy, but if we out,
I was about to say it. I was about to say it. It's a lot of dudes with guns that don't know how to shoot them. So
You're right.
Just because you got a gun don't mean nothing.
Don't mean you know how to use
Don't
them.
mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. But that's what he is demeanor and confidence. That is exactly right. And so everybody, you cannot have a gun and have demeanor and confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
But I was just making a point to say that a lot of hood dudes carry themselves with confidence and but that's exactly
that was your starting point, though.
yeah.
Bruh.
But that's exactly right. But
Hood guys are just
going
straight
back to
marching
what I
out
was
here.
saying,
Niggas
I
out
don't
here
want to
getting
be
robbed.
out. I don't want to be out and somebody pull out the
That was so
chopper
funny.
or somebody getting ready to square up and I'm squaring up and he running. What
I
you doing?
I do think that your woman seeing you get into a physical altercation and how that goes can have
Detrimental
it
effect.
can have a detrimental effect. Like your
It
woman
sure can.
watching you get whooped in the street. That's not good.
Side
for
eye back home.
That's
Even
a
if
wrap.
that is if you get a ride home, because she probably gonna leave you right there.
Yeah, that's why you really got to make a decision when there's a moment like that in public and you with your girl and it's about to pop off. You got to know what them hands is looking like, because if they're not looking right, then it could go left and then your whole world just crumbles.
Yeah, man.
And then you could be a good guy, but you could have that hood mentality in you. You could be ready. I'm gonna use the Atlanta term. You could be ready to knock if you buck when the time is right, but you better be ready to do it for your woman if you have to, and not be there. Oh, it's all good, man. You go ahead. No. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Me and Don from Clayco. So you let a woman come out here and be slick. I'm gonna be ready to go. But keep going, y'all. I had a side moment just there. I ain't even gonna lie.
I'm from Escambia. So
You said you
Now,
from
Don, don't do it like that. I'm from Escambia County.
I'm from Escambia. Hey, look, I'm from the country, but hey, when it's time to get down, hey, I ain't flinching.
But yeah, no, women want to feel a sense of security.
Exactly, 100%. Life comes at you
Did y'all
fast.
see that comment?
Life comes at you fast.
Hey, big head.
That's just like, I think, like on the other side of it, your woman seeing you like step up and protect her in a moment like that, it really it does something to them. Like,
It do.
in a good
Like
way.
to know that you're protected is great. Like it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And to know that you're not protected and that you got to fight for yourself is diabolical.
Sada.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. So
Desiree put up safety, security, emotional maturity, and confidence.
Great answer.
Emotional maturity. Let's talk about that. Very, very important. Most women don't want to be with a man who's not emotionally mature. What do I mean? That goes back to the playing the video games and watching it. If you put that ahead of your woman, that's not very emotionally mindful. I'm okay with people having hobbies. I got my own hobbies. I don't want nobody clinging up under me all day. Go to work. Let me go to work. Go hang out with your friends. I'm going to hang out with my friends. But at the end of the day, like when we come together, if we've been out all day or, you know, away from each other or whatever, you done had your day to do your thing. I had my day to do my thing. And we come together and all you want to do is sit in front of the video game all night. Like all night. That's a problem. Or all you want to do is what you always want to do. And like, we're never having that time together. Like, or you always putting your friends above us doing something together. Like, I believe it's the balance in everything. But to me, maturity is understanding, prioritizing your woman and her feelings and making her feel validated. Like, if you can't do that, then I just feel like you're emotionally immature.
And it's about recognizing where you are in your life, where you are emotionally, where you are mentally. That's where that emotional maturity comes into play. And it's just a thing that you have to work out on your own. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have to make sure that every day that you know where you are emotionally. Like, don't just be drifting and just going through the motions. Like, no, know where you are, know where you want to go, you know, mentally. And if you don't know, talk to somebody, you know, communicate.
Heavy on the
Communication,
top. Communication is key. I know that's where you were about to go.
it's very key. Yeah, very key. Desiree said, being able to have hard conversation without feeling attacked. Ooh, we a team. Every conversation will not be easy, but it's necessary. Yeah. Yeah, that's an area that I'm still in myself working at, because like for me, I know when it comes to the hard conversations, I know what the intent is. The intent is not to attack me. The intent is to help me to understand and give me a new perspective and a new outlook on things. And so I can say with that, you know, with me being transparent, that that's something that I'm continuously working on, because I can, at times I can get defensive, you know, but I've gotten better. I've gotten better at it. And
yeah, I think at my big age, you know, communication is very vital, because again, like, you got to know what you want and you got to be able to communicate that. No, I'm not gonna put that on the record just yet. Never mind.
Speak on it.
No,
breaking news.
not breaking news. Not ready for that.
But
So
I
mean, to gears, what are like some of the things that y'all want in a woman?
Well, since you asked, let's go to the book.
You know what?
He had a book ready.
Not the book. Not the book.
The
I
book.
think it's just, you know,
It's the same thing.
Yeah, emotional intelligence is very important. Just, you know, especially, you know, with men, there are so many things that are kind of pulling at us. Like, we're being pulled in like a million different directions. We're supposed to be providers. We're supposed to be, you know, security guards. We're supposed to be ready to fight at a moment's notice. And
the security guards
pops off. There's so many things that we're supposed to be responsible for.
Not talk golf.
Hold on, flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Not the T. The
Flag on the
play.
I just want to say too now, it's okay for y'all to want to ride or ride and shorty, because now if y'all think I'm not coming swinging behind, man, y'all crazy.
Well, I have a
Like,
question. I have a quick question. If you see your man getting beat up,
are you
jumping in? Are you jumping in?
I'm jumping in.
She from Muskemia County. She better jump in.
I'm going. I'm going. But like, it all depends how bad he gets. Like,
that's what I mean. No, I mean like getting whooped. Like, he's getting whooped. Are you jumping in?
If I love you,
getting slammed.
people yelling out "World Star." Like, they got their phones out recording. You know, you're gonna see them on Twitter or TikTok in a day or two.
I'm going. I might leave him when I get
outside.
home.
I might leave
him when I get home, but I'm going. I'm riding with him now.
Oh my goodness!
You're not going to embarrass me. We fighting. We fight together.
No, I think as far as, you know, just emotional intelligence, there's so many things that can weigh on a man, and so I just think like a woman understanding that and being able to just have that in mind, and, you know, being able to recognize when your man has had a tough day, and, you know, like have that conversation, like, hey, what's bothering you? What can I do to help? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not even from a financial perspective, but just in general. Like, just like sometimes we just want to have be nurtured and have a, you know, good conversation about like what's been on our mind recently, especially if something that's bothering us. You know?
Definitely agree with that. Yeah,
and I don't think women have a problem giving in that. I think that men just have a hard time effectively communicating a lot of times.
That's true.
And I could be wrong, but, you know, I just feel like we are more apt to, you know, using our words. Sometimes it don't seem like men know how to properly use their words. And I mean, it's a word. Go ahead.
I was saying, I think some men have issues voicing how they're feeling, either because they don't want to appear weak, or they don't even necessarily know how to. They may not have like a really great understanding of what's making them feel the way they are feeling, and they might not be able to communicate that effectively without it turning into like an argument or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, I think a lot of the time that kind of factors into that.
And that may also tie into knowing your partner too, because some guys feel like, do I really want to open up and all this and get it thrown back in my face? So, you know, it's a tricky situation with that too. But no, I also agree with you as well. I love what Desiree said, because absolutely that's one thing that you would want in your woman, is to definitely be encouraging you, you know, along your journey. You be able to be the same for her. Like for me personally, I do want an independent woman, but I want to be able to provide for her, but to also see, hey, you know, she can hold it down herself if she needs to, not for my sake, but for her own sake, because at the end of the day, both of you individually being happy matters as much as you collectively being happy too. And I think that's one thing that a lot of guys definitely look for. And I do agree with her as far as the encourager and sounding board. And definitely women, if your man make music and it's trash, let him encourage him to do something else. But anyways, but you definitely want to be able to have a woman, you know, encourage your journey and maybe meet you at your happy medium, because as Court mentioned, you do got, as men, we do have to know a certain balance. Now, like, for example, like, I know Court go Lloyd, but like for all of us that are football fans, you got to know when to cut it off when it comes to your relationship. You can't go 5-6 hours later, man, my team made me so mad, so I'm gonna take away time from my wife or my girlfriend. So you got to also have that kind of balance too. So,
man, forget them. No, just
let me say something real quick. Come on, because right before we got on here,
I know.
Y'all see this ad? Y'all see this ad?
Yeah.
Right before we got on here, they threw a flag. I walked away immediately. They threw a flag on the Bengals defense. I knew the game was over. It was over immediately. There was no need to watch anymore. It was over.
Our game ended at 4:00, and I'm still pissed off about it.
But that's a story for another day.
It really is.
Well, y'all get to watch us.
It's a football conversation.
Y'all get to watch us embarrass ourselves in front of company.
No, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Okay, but let's get back on the road, because let's get back.
I support you guys in your football antics. I support it.
Because I don't think some of y'all understand like what that stuff do to us. Like it is. I mean, no,
it's your thing, and I respect it. I really do. I respect it. I just feel in the same way, it just got to be balanced with everything. But I definitely respect that football is a safe space for guys. Is what you do. It's a hobby. It's a language for you guys, and I don't have a problem. I really don't have a problem with it.
But like you said, it's extremely important to continue to prioritize your relationship as much as you can. Because it can't just be like, oh, football, or video games, and then you're not.
I'm the type of person.
Time with your significant other.
I'm the type of person. If your team lose, let me make you forget they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you got some guys who just so, oh my god, I don't want to,
Look at
okay.
Don's face.
Go be angry for the rest of the week.
It was the tone that she said it.
I heard that too.
But
I was looking at the comments, man.
It was the tone for me. Well, let me make you forget that.
Y'all are wild.
Okay.
When the Falcons lost the bowl, I ain't talked to my girl for 2. I understand, man.
Look, I answered the phone the whole next day. To
Understandable.
be honest with you,
I did not hear from Nate.
That's why
Nate was radio silence for days.
That's why I'm glad.
I was ghost for some days after that. I ain't gonna lie.
I feel bad. Like the Bengals, like we've had our own share of struggles, and we played in the Super Bowl and we lost to the Rams. I don't know if I could take being up 28-3 in the Super Bowl and losing.
Hey, we here to talk about that,
that's
man.
Not something
Why are we not talking?
That's not something I can deal with.
We not talking about football.
I just,
man.
I don't. And I'm not even trying to play. I'm not even trying to play you, Nate. I'm just talking from like a real perspective. Like my fandom would probably die that day. Like I just don't, But you're stronger. What it say? God gives his strongest soldiers
to the strongest soldiers.
Oh my God! But the thing is, and this kind of tie back into what we're talking about. For the girl, for any woman that is with me, I'm not gonna say that it's an adjustment for her, because I am a big football fan. I do stuff football related, but like it's also kind of different because the women in my family are big into football, so it's like you don't want to make her feel like, okay, if you don't know football, it's not gonna work. But you do kind of want your girl to kind of know, like, just know a little bit. Know
it's
who
a part
the
of your
person
culture.
is. Yeah, so it's like, and I think that sometimes become the struggle with some of the women that some of my family members date, because a lot of our women in our family will watch the game longer than we'll watch the game. And that's just kind of how, so like you said, Court, it's one of those things where you gotta learn your part. You gotta know what they're interested in. Like her interest could be gardening. I gotta go out there, put a hat on and go out there for a little bit. I may not like it, but guess what? If it makes her happy, then that's what it's all about.
I had to spray on some Osprey, but let's go out there and plant these flowers.
Yeah. Get that off.
I want to ask y'all a question. So I know what I want, when it in terms of partner, but I want to ask y'all, since I gave an explanation on the whole good guy versus bad guy, what draws y'all to the women who are not I'm all natural. I have not had no surgeries. I don't got no BBL. I don't got no breast implants. I don't got no facelift, no nothing, lip injections. I am 100%.
I know Ricardo said that. I know her husband said that.
No shade to the women. If you want to enhance yourself, that's your business. I'm not judging you. I'm just simply asking a question. I feel like in today's time, it's for natural women to get a partner because everybody going for the belt. I wonder why. Oh, y'all, no, don't get quiet, church.
Look, I'm married. I plead the fifth.
You said what attracts us to women? Is that what you said?
I'm saying, like, why? What makes you go for in the same way you asked me, what makes the women go for the bad guy? What makes y'all go for the BBL?
I've never
think-
been with a woman with a BBL.
Yeah, I personally think that a lot of there's some guys who want.
I don't.
No, you should have saw the face. I know what they were wanting.
I've never. That's never happened. I don't know.
I never
do.
If anything, it looks like you can tell nowadays. You know the hip ratio and like it just not it's off. You know, and it just doesn't look right.
You want the way the hip going the other way.
And what's the dude's name? Is it Emmanuel Hudson? Is that his name? The one that was like, I don't know if you ever heard him talk about like Queen Ant booty before, but that's what
so plate tectonics.
that's what that reminds me of. So.
I'm just wondering, like, is physical like a big thing for y'all? And that's what made me ask the question, because I'm like, there are so many intelligent, natural women.
He's
like,
right.
What makes
He's
y'all?
Right. I mean, I think especially for men. Well, I think most men. I think like physical attraction, like it kind of has to start there, and then you kind of start digging into the other stuff, like the personality and stuff like that. But I think most of the time a woman catches a man's eye, and that's what kind of initiates the interaction.
So physical attraction is like a number one for y'all.
Well, I think it doesn't necessarily have to be a number one, but I think it's like the lead in. That's what kind of causes.
It's the initiator.
Yeah, like the initiator.
Yeah.
Like you see a girl who looks good, and then you start talking to her, and you figure out, you know, if she's crazy or not. And then you kind of go from there.
And I also would say that a lot of us would say that we don't necessarily want the ones that have to feel they got to go get surgery to be physically attracted to it. I mean, you can be attracted to a natural girl all day long, because you can go out here and buy the biggest butt in the world and have the worst personality, and you don't want a thing to do with it. So, and that statement that it is true that you can be the most beautiful girl in the world and have the worst personality, and that's not attractive. So I think physical do play to an extent, but I don't think it has like a particular, you got to have this like, so is it attractive? Yes. But I think that it depends on how do you react, because sometimes the girls that get the BBLs and the lips and everything, they think they too good for the guy anyway. So they like the fact that they can get them followers up on IG or whatever. So you may not necessarily want to be with that one. So I feel like, in my personal opinion, you're gonna go for someone that catches your eye as far as, like you said, it's a physical attraction. She could have the most gorgeous face. You know what I mean? It don't have to necessarily be the whole body. It could be something that could attract you to an extent physically, but not just necessarily having the biggest butt. That's how I feel.
Okay.
I agree with the what Ann and Nate said.
Wonderful.
Hey, blink twice if you need help, Don.
Hey, dog.
We will not allow him to answer that question.
I think I heard a gun load over there.
There was a couple of plays being grabbed.
So what do y'all think about I'm going back to what women want. Now, this is kind of like more of a reference thing, but I do want to bring it to the table because, you know, some women feel one way about it, other one another way about it. Dating with children. Would y'all date women with children?
Yeah, I would.
You said would we or have we?
Would we?
Would you date a woman with children? Well, you can't answer because you married.
Yeah, you can't answer.
My ex-wife had 3 children when we started talking.
Oh, okay.
Worst decision of my life. But go ahead.
Dang, sorry if you listen, sis. God dang, dog.
I'm sure it was disrespectful.
Hold on,
Worst
dog.
decision of my life. Yeah, I think
That's a little
for me, I
harsh.
would. Yeah, I would, but my limit.
Look, it got so bad to where like God
You
told
invite
me
'em?
that she was my wife, but when I seen her with a little boy right beside her, I said, God, you lying. That's not my
Did you
wife.
lie?
And kind of find out that was her nephew. That wasn't even
Oh,
her child. Straight up. Like, nah, I told after my divorce, I said, God, I would never talk to a woman with children ever again. No, that scarred me.
yeah,
It did.
I mean that's understandable. I think, yeah, one is my limit. Like, as far as women having a kid and coming into a relationship.
She had 3.
I think
Donna is
God.
scarred.
Like, get off of like,
Donna is scarred.
let this rest. It's okay.
It's resting.
Golly.
I'm
You
sure.
hurt up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can agree. I think one is the preferred amount, maybe 2, depending on the age. I think that also plays another factor in it because I don't necessarily want to be with a woman that maybe have just got out of a particular situation and their kid may be like less than a year because I don't know the situation with their baby's father. It could be that could be a toxic situation.
Yeah.
And
Lakers,
you
man.
could be yeah, you could that could be a situation, but I feel that especially at I'm 33, I feel like I don't have an option to be kind of picky.
Yeah.
It's like
You reach a certain age where
Yeah.
you're going to start, the
It's-
majority of women that are in your age range have kids.
It's inevitable.
Now I have a question for y'all because I feel like there's been this dangerous trend I've been seeing, and I won't necessarily say the Black community, but like where men who step in and are stepfathers, who, they come into a relationship, they don't have any kids, and then their stepfathers are seen as like being weak, like, or stupid. Have y'all seen that? Or have y'all heard of that?
repeat that one more time.
Basically, they're saying that men who are comfortable being stepfathers to other men's children, like when women come into a relationship already with kids, that those men that are comfortable being with those women are stupid or weak for being willing to be stepfathers.
What?
But you know the flip side of that. Society, if the shoe was on the other foot and it was the woman who came into the relationship with a man who had children, they would call her strong. They would call her great. Oh, you go, girl, you do that.
Yeah.
But when it's a man, oh, dude, you weak. You gonna take care of another man's child?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
what? It's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand it, man. And that's what we up against in society. Like, I don't want it to be that way. I didn't wish it to be that way, but man, we have to understand, like, it's just like how the refs did the Bengals today.
You know what? Let me get this back on track.
I might be
It's too soon for comments like that.
I'm sorry.
Let me
this
say
ruffle-
something to that.
This
So,
might
oh, go ahead.
this might ruffle some feathers, but hey, if we're gonna keep it real, we're gonna keep it real. I would never knock another brother out here that takes on the responsibility of being a stepfather because I have a great stepfather. My mom married a couple years ago. I have a great relationship with my stepfather.
Yeah.
Some of you that are on social media calling that man weak, maybe it's because you weren't a good dad. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe that stepdad is stepping up to the plate and being the better father to that child, to that boy or girl than you were. So don't ever knock a dude for stepping into a woman's life if that's his preference to be a stepfather. Because guess what? Sometimes that could be God's assignment for him because the other person could have dropped the ball so bad that maybe you need someone to step into your life and help balance that out, teach you and let you become that father figure that child may need. You can change the kid's life for the best. So anybody that's on there talking that crap about that's a weak person, maybe you're a weak parent. I'm gonna pass over the court.
This is loaded. I got a lot to say.
It's a loaded gun.
Yeah, this is loaded. First of all, in my younger days, I vowed to never date a man with a child. I vowed, like, it's just not what I wanted. It was just a preference. It was a preference because I just didn't want to deal with it. And I'm not gonna lie, like back when I was young, I was naive, I was spoiled, you know, I was used to spoiling myself, and I wanted a nigga that was gonna spoil me too. And I just felt like I couldn't have that degree of spoiling with a man who had children or a child, because I felt like a part of him, rightfully so, you are supposed to, if you don't take care of your child, that's a problem for me. So for me, it was like one of those catch-22, because I want you to take care of your child, but at the same time, I want to be spoken to, and I just felt like it couldn't be both. So anyway, I had said I didn't want to date men with children, and that was my reason for it. Now that I'm older, like Aunt said earlier, you know, you get to a certain age where it's like it's almost impossible unless you're gonna date like super. But for those who don't know, I now have a kid, and she's not my biological daughter, but she's my child, and she lives with me, and I'm raising her, and that's that. And so I feel like I would never, and even though I didn't date people, I have never made fun of a man who stepped up to the plate to help raise a kid. I ain't never made fun of a woman who stepped up to the plate to help raise a kid. And here, but I didn't learn this lesson until I got my baby. But you never know a person's situation. You never know a person's situation. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's not about us as the adults. It's about the kids. Here's why. So, no, she's not my biological daughter, but, you know, she's with me. She's never known her father. Not a day in her life. She may have seen him twice. Last year, he died. Wow. And I had to have that conversation with her. And naturally, you know, she grieved. Some people was like, oh, well, she didn't even know him. Okay, yeah, she may not have known him, but now she'll never know him, and she's got to live with that. So for me, like, when I say you never know a child's situation, I would love to, and I'm not, she's perfectly taken care of. If I got to raise her by myself, I'm doing that. But I said all that to say, you know, it would be very nice to have a male figure in her life, you know what I'm saying, who would step up to the plate to love her like his own, because she don't even have a dad, you know. Sure. So I don't take nothing away from no man that steps up to be there. And, you know, she has male figures in her life. She's got uncles and, you know, my guy friends. She knows them all and she loves them. But, you know, I feel like that's important. It's important for a little girl to be able to look up to a dad, you know. I didn't have that, and I knew my dad. So I just feel like step parents are important. And on the flip side of that, I feel like when step parents come into play and the child's parent is active, like let's say they do have an active dad, then it's a bonus. You know what I'm saying? You never have enough support to they wasn't lying when it said it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah. Like, it really does. So to me, it's like, shoot, the more the merrier. As long as you taking care of my child, you love my child, you respect my child, you're not mistreating my child, you're not abusing my child. Hey, let's get in this thing and do what we got to do for the sake of the child. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I just feel like us as adults, we insert ourselves and we insert our own emotions and feelings about something, and we take away what's the focus from what's really important, which is the kid. Cause
let's talk about it. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Some dudes out there that's saying, "Oh, that's weak." Nah, be honest. If that woman is she looking good and she got a kid, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna jump at that. You're not even gonna care that she even has a kid. Oh, that's the biological father kid. I ain't gotta deal with that child. Like, no, like in all seriousness, I just feel like I don't look at it as a weakness if a man chooses to raise a child that's not his, because he has the option of not doing that. You know, he could have just looked the other way and be like, you know what? She got a kid. I ain't gonna deal with her. But he realizes that, hey, it's a package deal. You know, if I'm gonna be with this woman, if I see potential in this woman, if I see chemistry in this woman, then I have to understand that she comes with children. And that right there is the main component. It's like you can't have a relationship with the woman, not with the children. Like that's not going to work. That's one of the things that caused issues in my last marriage, because I thought that, hey, as long as I have a relationship with my wife, I ain't gotta have a relationship with children. Like, I'll just let the biological dad do all that, and I could just. But at the end of the day, that was me not being mature enough to understand that, you know, and just allowing my heart to lead me instead of my head, knowing that, hey, you know, you're not ready for this yet, because I was at a point in my life where I'm still trying to figure myself out, and I'm still trying to figure out where I'm trying to go in life. And here I am with a woman with 3 children that I don't know what to do. So that caused issues. And like I said, it's just, I don't look at it as a weakness. I feel like it takes a strong man to take on children that's not his, and being able to balance the relationship that he has with the woman and the children. Like, that's a huge responsibility. And you know, like Court said, I grew up without my biological father. I didn't know who my father was until I was 17. And you know, he passed away in 2006, and this was a person who I grew up knowing as my grandfather, because everybody was telling me, hey, this your granddad, not knowing that he was my biological father. And he molested my mom, and that's how I came to be. So that kind of jacked me up a little bit, you know, because I was just,
absolutely, yeah,
you know, that just threw my world upside down right there. So you know, it took a whole lot of healing and a whole lot of forgiveness and everything like that. But I just feel like it's a big responsibility for a man to be like, you know what, if I'm gonna have a relationship with this woman, if she has children, I'm gonna have a relationship with the child as well. Whether, you know, even if it's not mine, I'm still gonna have a relationship, because it's a package deal. So
yeah, you got to. Yeah, I'm not really sure how the conversation kind of reached that point, as far as, you know, other men wanting to call men weak for being willing to step up and take on the responsibility. And I feel like there are a lot of people who they're really comfortable making kids, and going through the process to have a child, but then when it comes to actually raising the child, they're not willing to take on that responsibility. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, Don. I know, you know, I'm sure that was a lot to deal with when you found that out.
And I was at a point to where I couldn't even talk about it. Like, right now, I can talk about it without no issues, because you never know who may have went through that same thing, and they, you know, they hear me talking about it, like, oh wow, like he went through that, and look where he is now. Like, God has blessed me so much to, you know, be able to be a husband, to be a man, to be a associate pastor, to be in a position where I'm working, I'm taking care of my family, you know, eventually when that time comes to be a father, you know. So just all glory to God for where I am, you know, because it could have went left. We all know the statistics of men not growing up with their fathers in the household. Like, we know where they can go. And, you know, for me to beat that statistic, to be one of the ones who did make it out, you know, that right there is an accomplishment in itself. But
100%.
Yeah. So we learned tonight that a woman wants security, safety. And if you're a good guy, don't buy a gun, because you don't know.
You playing. See, you playing. See that? See, you playing.
Hey, know how to use. Hey, know how to use them fists too, man. Don't
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Don't just be out here lacking.
But seriously though,
And
we need to
have
do
some
it.
emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Emotional maturity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
And
I
we
think
want to
our
be
next,
loved.
yeah,
Above
yeah.
all, we want to be loved.
And I know we
Um,
tapped into it a little bit, but you know what, the next episode we need to do what a man wants. We need to do that.
I think that's a good idea. To do that.
It's not a bad idea.
I'd be interested to know.
Do the
I'd
opposite
be
end of the
interested to-
spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Court had to give a good take on the women's perspective, so she gets the opportunity to grill us.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And listen, I'm coming with my notes because I got a lot of questions.
Oh God.
I
Oh
got a
love
lot.
it.
Oh
I
Lord.
got
Considering
a lot of questions.
you an attorney too. Oh Lord, Jesus.
Why do y'all always say that? I am not an attorney.
You're a professor.
Well, I am a professor and I'm a paralegal. I'm not an attorney. People be like, close enough. My child
Yeah,
goes
exactly.
into everybody.
That's just a
yeah,
scientific term for a lawyer.
This is scientific.
But for
Anyway,
real though,
I had a class.
what's the difference between a lawyer and a paralegal? Like I want to know.
Well, I mean, I'm the lawyer's assistant, essentially.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So you eventually will become a lawyer. Okay. All right, cool.
But most
All right.
paralegals are studying to become attorneys, right? Normally?
A lot of them.
A lot of them? Okay.
So I was right.
And
Y'all are so wild.
See, we walk around this circle to come
to
to
really
find
do
out.
your job as a paralegal, you're basically, you have to kind of navigate the world as an attorney, right? Like you kind of have to know the ins and outs and all that stuff.
I mean, just doing. I always tell people anything that you do career wise, like any assistant is 9 times out of 10 the brain. So if you're the assistant to the doctor, you know what the doctor does.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an assistant to the lawyer, you know what the lawyer does. You've done lawyer work. So yes, I always just say, we're the lawyer that don't get paid like a lawyer.
All right,
hey, one day.
But no, actually, I cannot complain. I do get paid like a lawyer. I make more than some lawyers do. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying I work very, 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 very hard. And I'm proud of
No, flex on them.
No, I'm proud of my work. I have worked very hard to get to where I am today.
Let them know you big court, not the little one.
Not the little one. Not the little one. Big court.
She got money, y'all.
I didn't say all that. I wasn't saying it for that. I was just saying, see, that's why you can't. That's why you can't even. I was just trying to say I'm proud of myself. Here y'all go think I'm trying to do a big flex. I'm just proud of my work. That's
It wasn't me.
Yeah, I just work hard. I work very, very hard, and yeah, I'm proud of me. But yeah, I had some I don't feel like we've been talking this long. This is good.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And she'll make you forget that your team lost. Had to throw that in there.
Maybe we need to do a show tomorrow because
no show.
Y'all play?
See, look, Ant was smiling before the episode was over.
Exactly. Yeah, it did help a little bit. I mean, the loss still stings, but
we play the Eagles in Philly.
Oh yeah,
and then we play the Chiefs here next Sunday.
Ooh.
So pray for me.
Well, they probably won't have Pacheco. I'll say that. Apparently, he was walking. He was walking on crutches, so I don't think he'll be playing.
I hate that for him, but they probably put Xavier Words back there. He'd go for 100 yards during the Falcons.
They got some IGP round too.
How long before y'all for the fans yelling for Penix to be the quarterback?
Last week.
Yesterday.
Are they already there? Man.
Listen, this is one quick note.
After the game was over.
One quick note. This is a this is a black city. Let's keep it a buck. It's a black city.
100%.
So you know you want the black man to thrive in this city. So he ain't got that much on. He ain't got that much.
Yeah, plus Kirk looking a little shaky. So you know.
When he did not look shaky, like
That's a good question.
we tried to tell a certain somebody about Kirk Cousins, but they didn't want to listen. I'm not talking about you, Nate. I'm talking about somebody else. They didn't
Play like a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well,
they had their shot, man. They had their shot.
Football talk. Mindful of me, very demure of me.
Oh Lord, you and that word.
See how I'm staying in my lane.
On that note,
hold up, I got it. I'm gonna bring this back up here. See, we need this because for all of you women in Atlanta, this is a day off. So when your team wins, you get to stay at the house and chill out because everybody gonna be straight.
Y'all had y'all chance 8 years ago. Y'all had y'all chance 8 years ago and y'all blew it.
Man.
Oh, anyway, thank y'all for joining us on tonight. It's been TED Talk by Courtney on what women want. Like we said, next month. Well, I can't say next month, but soon, we're going to have an episode on what men want. So, men, get your notepads. Think about this now. Think about it. You know, this is your opportunity to.
This is your time.
Put it all out there what y'all want. So don't come in here disappointing us.
And don't mention BBLs. No BBLs.
Please don't. Like seriously, like
please.
This is a no BBL zone.
100%.
I mean, if that's what y'all want, I'm gonna just be single the rest of my life. Cause I ain't getting no BBL.
And on that note.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
This has been an episode of the King's Court podcast. We will see y'all again soon. Enjoy the rest of your night.
See ya.